5 simple and most effective ways to bring change in your life with the law of attraction. As Rumi once said, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself." Let's start this with an interesting story. Johanna was a student from Kuala Lumpur who was struggling to finish her college studies. She lived in a dorm with other girls and her life was quite difficult. She was on scholarship, due to which she had to maintain her grades. Also, she worked part-time to support her financial needs. Johanna was tired of living this kind of life, and a lot of times, she just wanted to quit. Just when this was about to happen, she met a guy, who was one of the classmates, named Jacques. Jacques was a foreign exchange student who had come from Canada for the philosophy class. He introduced the law of attraction to her. Jacques told her that the law of attraction helped him solve a lot of problems in his life. Despite growing up in an abusive family, he learned how to change his perspective and thinking to change the circumstances in his life. Johanna got inspiration from his life and started to implement this law in her life. She began to change her way of thinking and it led to some positive changes in her life. She left her part-time job and started a new one with better pay and good working hours. She managed to study well and things worked out so well that she started her own side income project. The project grew so well that she started to get the help of Jacques to manage it properly. By the end of the year, she was a totally different person. She transformed herself from a depressed, hopeless girl to a successful, confident one just by changing her way of thinking and perspective in life. The power of changing your perspective in life. The reason for sharing this story is so that you learn how the law of attraction can change your life and the circumstances you go through. A lot of times we get stuck in a situation where we totally began to feel hopeless and powerless. We think that things will always stay the same and the situation will never improve. However, if we begin to change our mindset, just like Johanna, we can bring a lot of changes in our lives. The only way to do is by changing our own inner world. The inner world of one's life has a direct influence on the external world. That is exactly what the law of attraction tells us. This is all about the frequency match. If you have a right perspective and positive thinking, the universe will pick signals and you will begin to see some positive changes in your life. On the other hand, if you're always thinking negative and bad about things, the universe will pick low frequency signals, and you will never be able to see an improvement in your life. However, emotions are a part of life and it is not right to say that you should never feel sad or depressed. There are a lot of times that bad things happen and you cannot do anything about them. That is totally fine. But, keeping your mind run into negativity for a long period is not right. You have to install a positive attitude in your consciousness even if things are not going as they are meant to be. With some easy practices, you can easily get your thoughts and actions work together for a positive approach in life. 5 ways to bring positivity in your life with the law of attraction. Let's have a look at some easy ways to bring a positive change in life with this law. 1. Be generous and share gifts with those around you. You just cannot deny the power of giving. Giving is not just a virtue, it's a therapy. When you share something with someone, you send positive energy into the world and the universe brings it back to you. This is your trust in the universe that it will return one way or another. Thinking that you might not have enough is a false perspective. You have to think that everything in life is abundant. Also, when you improve someone else's life with your generosity, the universe will do the same for you. So, if you begin to think this way, it will bring a lot of positive energy in your life and you will see a lot of positive changes in no time. 2. Do not hang out with the losers. This is something very important. You must avoid all those who bring negativity in your life. These kinds of people will always try to drag you down by spreading their toxic thinking and saying hurtful words. They might even try to convince you that you are not good enough. In such situations, it is always better to change your path and get into your own direction. The law of attraction tells that when you focus on a specific thing, the universe will give you the same. So, if you stay away from all sorts of negativity and get onto your own path, you can stay from a lot of trouble. The same is the case with having a good company. If you are surrounded by people who uplift you and come with a positive mindset, you will begin to feel positive changes in your life. Simply put, the energy of those around you is contagious. If you are surrounded by good people, you will raise your own frequency and vice versa for the opposite. Well, there are also a lot of times when you cannot avoid the negative people in your life. They can be someone close from your family or friends, or you might just be living with one of them. In that case, staying away is actually a challenge, but you have to do your best to avoid any negative energy get into you. You have to respond to them with positivity and do not have to argue with them. Just agree to disagree and leave the conversation. Maybe they rethink about your positive response and change their approach in life. 3. Have a structure in life. This means that you have to work on your routine and lifestyle to get some positive changes. By incorporating some good habits into your daily routine, you can get some really good results. However, a lot of times we stick to one permanent routine and do not want to try new things so that it may not get disturbed. Well, that's totally wrong. If you're stuck in the same routine for a long time, you miss out on a lot of exciting new things that are waiting for you in life. You need to try these out to explore the world around you. Try different things that help you grow and make you feel energetic. The easiest way to do is to just sit and analyze the things that inspire you. What kind of work gives you excitement? What is that one thing that you like doing but don't do, thinking that you do not have enough time? Answer these questions and you will find exactly what you need to do. If that is something that requires a lot of time, try to shorten the period to even just half an hour, but try not to miss it. You can take up some online course that you always wanted to, or watch a tutorial to learn something you always wanted. Learning a new skill will open up the gates of creativity in your life. Just remember that this half hour will bring a lot of positive energy in you and you will be able to bring some good change in your life, so just don't miss this. 4. Control your thoughts. Meditation is a very helpful way to do that, and people have been doing this for ages. You have to learn how to control your thoughts so that you can be a better position to manifest things according to your choice. A lot of people find it hard to get over their negative thoughts, but meditation helps you do it easily and effectively. There is a lot of free content available on the internet that can guide you on how to do this. You can search for topics like how to stop overthinking, how to ease anxiety, etc., and you can find some really good content. Talking about meditation, it is a low-maintenance habit that requires just 10 to 15 minutes of your day. You can even do it for 5 minutes if you are short of time. For meditation, you simply have to sit on the floor and close your eyes. Then, you have to take slow breaths while focusing on the physical sensations that you feel at that very moment. You just have to breathe in and out, and if any extra thought comes in your mind, just let it go. Focus on the feeling of good things like love, success, health, or anything that you actually want to attract. Once your mind is calmed down, visualize all those things that you want in life. This will add things in your subconscious and you will get onto the path of getting those things in your life. 5. Affirmations. Muhammad Ali, a known name in the field of boxing, once said, "What you're thinking is what you're becoming." This is actually true. This approach in life made him become what he was, and it works for everyone else just the same. A lot of times, people are not conscious of the thoughts that exist inside their brains. If these thoughts are left unchecked, they lead you to a toxic mindset, leading you towards the negativity. The thing is that whatever is there in your subconscious affects you. It's just like when you put seeds somewhere, they grow into a plant. The same is the case with thoughts. If left unchecked, they can lead you to the negativity that will be expressed in your words and actions. Thus, it can be said that if you are not aware of what it is in your subconscious and you do not treat it timely, it will have a drastic effect on your actions. The idea can be explained by how the perception that a person has about himself is largely influenced by those around him. The input of these people leaves a mark in the subconscious that is hard to get over. This can always affect your decisions and actions, and the way you respond in certain situations. Thus, we can say that you really have to keep a check on your inner world to stay positive in your life. If you think you are a loser or a hopeless case, just because someone said that to you, you will not be able to prove yourself in life. However, if you think positively about yourself, you will see it in the form of some positive outcomes in your life. So, just do not allow negative thoughts to get into your brain and the subconscious. Get rid of them as soon as you can. Do not let other people's words affect your life and the decisions you make in it. If you really inculcate these 5 ways in your life, you will feel a great difference yourself. The best part is that it is not even hard. And you just need to change your mindset and thinking. Just always remember the law of attraction. If your inner world is positive, good things will come to you. On the other hand, if your inner world is full of negativity, your life will become full of troubles. So, just give it a thought and start working on these amazing life-changing tips right from now.